What's going on YouTube? It's Adam from Beyond the Grid. Welcome back to my channel for another Lightroom Mobile tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to create that orange and teal look using your mobile phone. But if you close your eyes. So before we jump into this tutorial, I want to jump into something and show you guys something about why the desktop version of Lightroom is more powerful at creating this orange and teal look over the mobile app. And it's mainly because it has a panel in it that the mobile app doesn't have, and that's the camera calibration panel. So let's jump to the desktop. I'm going to show you guys this panel, and then I'm going to show you guys how to create this effect in the mobile app. So if you guys scroll to the very bottom of your Lightroom desktop panel, you're going to see camera calibration area. This is going to be broken down into a couple sections. You're going to see your shadows and your tints, your red primary, your green primary, and your blue primary. Now, changing these values in the red, green, and blue primary is different than changing the values in the HSL panel because they affect the overall definition of red, green, and blue. So for instance, changing the blue in the HSL panel will target areas of the image that appear blue, whereas changing the blue in the camera calibration panel will affect all pixels that contain in the blue mix. It's a little bit hard to understand, but you guys will get an understanding when I show you guys how it affects the photo and why it's different than the mobile app, and why creating presets in the desktop version, converting them into DNGs, is better than just creating them in the mobile app, because you still retain the camera calibration area even in the presets that you move over. So let's jump into this tutorial. I'm going to show you guys how to create this effect without the camera calibration. Then I'm going to show you guys why a camera calibration added onto the same effects will create a better image. Okay, so now that we're in the app, we're going to start in the light area. So go over to the light. We're not going to mess with too much with the exposure. We're going to bump up our contrast just a little bit. Let's say plus 12. Our highlights, we're going to bump that up to, I like plus 10. Our shadows, we're going to move that one just a little bit down, say minus 3. Our whites, we're going to bump that right up to, let's say, plus 24. And our blacks, we're going to raise that up to, let's say, plus 29. Then we're going to go over to our color panel. We're going to raise the temperature up to about a plus 6. Tint, we're going to raise that up just a tiny bit. Let's say just even 2. Let's leave it 2. Come on, there you go. And then our vibrancy, we're going to bump that up to, let's say, plus 43 looks pretty good. Saturation, we're going to drop that down to minus 8. Looks all right. Then we're going to go over to our color panel. So we're going to start off with our reds. We're going to raise this right up to about a 99. Our saturation, we're going to leave where it is. And our luminancy, we're going to drop this right down to about a minus 22. Then we're going to come over to our orange. Let's go to a minus 7. Saturation, not too that much. And then our luminancy to a minus 26. We come over to our yellows, drop this right off the board, 100. And then minus 41 for the saturation. Will look pretty good. And then our luminancy, we'll bring this down. About a minus 19 looks pretty good there. And then our greens, we're going to again drop this right over to the yellow. So let's go over to minus 100, plus 27 for our saturation, and plus 48 there. Then we're going to come over to our aquas. We're going to make the hue towards the blue a little bit. So let's say plus 31. For saturation, we'll bring this down. And then our luminancy, we'll bring this up. Ooh, not too much, just a little bit. Our blues, what we're going to do is we're going to now start to adjust towards the teal. So let's go over here. Then our saturation, bring it down to about a minus 10. And our luminancy, we're going to bring this right down. Minus 48 looks pretty good. Our purples, we're not really going to touch too much. Our magentas, same thing, we're not really going to touch. Then we're going to come over to our effects area. We're going to raise our clarity up just a little bit. And then we're going to come over to our split tone. So we're going to choose a hue that's more over to the aqua. So we're going to choose a hue of, let's say, 192, 193. And saturation just a little tiny bit on him. Say right there. So 193, and let's say a saturation of 7. And then our shadows, we're going to go to say about a 26. Let's raise him up a little bit. Looks pretty good. Let's bring this one down just a tiny bit. So what do we say, 193? And let's say about an 8. That looks pretty good there. We can also adjust it towards the highlights or the shadows, but we're gonna leave it about a -10. That looks pretty good. Then we're gonna come back over to our detail. We're gonna sharpen this up just a little bit because it is a JPEG. So let's go to a 25. The rest of it we're gonna leave. Optics we won't touch. Then we're gonna come back over to our light panel, and we're gonna come over to our our curves, and we're just gonna bump this up a little bit here. We'll leave this guy up as well, just to create a brighter image. Our reds we're just gonna touch just a little bit. Oops. Let's come here. Just a tiny bit, if you guys can see that, just barely anything. Too much, it'll go too red. There you go. And then, yeah, I think that looks pretty good like that. So there's your before, and there's your after. So as you guys can see, it's pretty easy to create that look in the Lightroom app, but I'm going to show you guys why you should be using that camera calibration area by creating presets in the Lightroom Desktop, importing them into the app, and then using them as presets inside the app. So if we go ahead and we reset this photo, so we're going to reset all, and this is the original photo that we have now. You go over to your presets tabs and then go down to the orange and teal ones. These are my presets that I have available in my Selfie store, which I will link down below so you guys can check those out. And you guys actually click on it, you guys will see that the photo adjusts on its own, and you start to get that orange and teal look. And as you work your way through them, you start to see a little bit difference between each one. They're all meant to create that same sort of look and that same orange and teal and keep it consistent across all of your photos. But as you can see, it actually adjusts and moves the pixels rather than the way we did it, where we're actually playing with the hues. So if we go to that and we go to a before, and then we go to an after, you guys can really see a difference. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a before and an after, and you guys can really see the difference between the hues and adjusting that camera calibration. So keeping the trend of my tutorials, I'm going to be giving you guys the mobile preset for free, the one that we created at the beginning of this video, and I'm going to leave that in the link in the description below. But if you're someone who wants to pick up an entire collection and use them in all your photos, I do have the collection available, and there's going to be 11 of those presets, the same ones that I showed you guys in my mobile app and I added the photo with. I'm going to leave that link down below, and I'm also going to have it pop up right here. So as usual, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys are hitting that like button. If you guys are not a subscriber, I mean, why aren't you? Hit that subscribe button, and until the next video, take care everybody.